All right, we are live. We are live,
We
right?
are back.
Hey, man, we are back.
Must
And you're
be,
back, dude.
must be another Wednesday.
It is another Wednesday right here in Washington, D.C. And look who we drug back. Of course, you saw him last week for a quick moment for Whiskey Wednesday. He popped in after just landing, days before for an amazing Whiskey Wednesday with a producer. But because this guy has been on the production side, it was just so perfect that you joined us last week for your first Whiskey Wednesday back in-house for 2025. It's M-Dog Stennett, everybody, Mr. Matt Stennett. Yes,
What's going
indeed.
on, everyone? Glad to be back. Glad for another Whiskey Wednesday. Been missing it. I'm always tuning in, but it's never the same as getting to sit here next to you back at Chat's Liquors. So
back at Chats, man.
Got a fun lineup for tonight and everything.
Absolutely. He literally came back to DC bearing whiskey. So it's like, Christmas in March again, and some fun things on the tasting table. You see that there are 4 bottles on the tasting table, and we're going to keep it at 4 this time, right? Sometimes we have had an idea that struck us and we add something else, but why are we just going to keep this at 4? Why is it probably smart to keep it at 4 tonight, Matt?
Well, I don't, Zoe's not here, so I didn't bring any 80, 90 proofers with me. So the lowest proof we got is 107, going all the way up to 127, I think, is the highest proof on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So thought it might be best to keep it just at 4, sticking 3 of the 4 on the table are cask-strength products. So trying to play it safe. Again, always drink responsibly. And so, we're going to do 4. I think we got 4 solid bottles. A couple will be fresh cracks, so I hope they're good, but you never know. Figured what better chance to try them out than here on Whiskey Wednesday at Chat's Liquors. So,
For sure. Well, I'm down with that, man. It's such an amazing lineup. Let's see if I can I have this bottle turned backwards. There we go. There we go. Absolutely. Right. We can't hide them from everyone, man. So let's see if this gives us a little close up of the lineup, and kind of. Although we're just a little bit off there, so we're just gonna slide them over. We can slide them back in a second. But folks, that's the lineup right there. We are gonna actually be starting from this way, right? Found North, and then finishing with the Jack Daniels 12-year, right? And just so that this is kind of in alignment with the way that we're used to drinking them, let's just swap these around. And as I swap them around, you tell them what's on the table, Matt.
Yeah. We want just with what we're about to crack, or you want everything?
No, just everything. So quick little rundown.
So we got a nice little bit of variety. So we're gonna start off with a Canadian, a single barrel of Found North. So we're gonna go Canadian. Got some high aged whiskey. It's kind of a blend of corn whiskey and wheated whiskey. Then we're moving on to a specialty from the Masters Collection of Woodford Reserve. It's going to be one of their batch proof products. So that's a fun bottle. Switching up from, the standard, 90.4 proof of Woodford Reserve. Then a bottle I'm super excited about, a single barrel, bear with me here, a single barrel, toasted barrel proof Elijah Craig. So that's 8 years old. I saw these were new coming out on the market. They just came out a month or 2 ago, right? End of last year, beginning of this year, something like that. So I was really excited to find one. And then we're going to finish off. So we're going to start with Canadian, go bourbons. Then we're going to finish off with some Tennessee whiskey. Got a little variety. So Jack 12-year. I think the higher end stuff Jack has been coming out with has just been absolutely killer. They're no longer just being known or recognized for Old Number 7 as a good mixer. They're putting out great quality products. And I thought it was good too, because just in the last 2 weeks or something, Jack 14-year has come out. So
nice.
Why not do the 12-year?
Absolutely.
So there we go.
All right, man. Well, this is super cool, man. I can't wait to dive in for sure. And we are going to be starting with the Found North, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's
Crack
go ahead
action.
and get that scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. And as I do that, I'm also just gonna zoom in just a little bit here, folks. Bear with me. We're gonna adjust the camera
squared away
just a bit, and I think that's gonna look good there.
Yeah,
and that's gonna look good there. How is it, Matt?
I think it looks good. I need you to sit down to be sure, but I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
We need to be just a little bit closer. I feel so far away from everyone, right?
Yeah, I know. We want to be personal.
Indeed.
Up in
In your
space.
living room, in your ride as you're driving, whatever you're doing at work for some folks, maybe. But shout out to everyone who has joined in. I don't have my tabs open, but
we got Ralph in the house, GGDC,
beautiful.
So
indeed. Well, how is everyone? We are once again going to be diving into the Found North. It is a fresh crack. I think Matt started working on that crack, maybe that fresh crack.
No, that's some damage in transit.
Oh, really? Okay.
On the wax. So a little damage in transit. But that's all right. It's not going to affect how the whiskey tastes. So, you love good wax on top of a bottle. Sometimes they're so thick that it's hard to get off. And other times maybe they're a little too thin and it doesn't stay intact that well.
You never know. You never know, right? Absolutely. We'll finish cracking that bottle, man. And let's go to town. Love it.
Yeah, see, it's kind of disintegrating on me a little bit.
Well, it was in those cold temperatures out there in Montana, and then we're at about 70 some degree. No, not quite 70 today. Maybe high 60s today in DC. Oh, it'll be all right. Nice. No, that is good. Why is that good? This is plenty, because we are talking about 117.1 proof. Look at the legs on that bad boy, though.
Your pours better than mine.
The viscosity on here is crazy. Super rich legs. A lot of oils there.
Yeah,
absolutely. Kind of a burnt toast color.
Oh wow, the nose.
Yeah. Now let's they give us a breakdown of the mash bill up top, right? It's like 20 some 20-year-old, 15-year-old, and 8-year-old whiskey. Is that correct?
21-year-old corn whiskey, 20-year-old corn whiskey, 15-year-old corn whiskey, and then an 8-year wheated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a fun topic to bring up with you. How you think they're going about this classification, where we got a recipe for a blend, but then this bottle is a single barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That it is. That is very interesting, right? Very interesting. And this is season 4, cask number 5,693, right? And so there is a finishing process that happens, and that's where they are kind of denoting the single cask. So they make the blend, they put it in brand new American oak with a number 1 char level. So a more of a toasted, right? American oak. It says heavy toast with American oak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. So they are using American oak probably to toast the barrel, right?
Yeah.
So they're burning American oak as opposed to a neutral.
But you can have char and toast.
Okay.
You can have a charred and toasted barrel. So I think that's a char one with heavy toast.
Okay, explain that a little bit for us, Matt. Since you've been in distilling all the way from Bozeman, Montana, Bozeman Distilling Inc. Give us a little rundown of what you mean by that.
So it comes. So the theory of it is the same. You are applying a flame to a barrel, to a uncharred barrel or untoasted barrel, but it's 2 different types of flame and process used,
right?
And so you can do both of them to that barrel, and have a charred and toasted barrel in the same. So, like, for example, I know from like Kelvin Cooperage is a common one, where you can get char 1 through 4 on your barrel, and you can do just the char, or you can also do light, medium, or heavy toast with any of those chars. So that combination you can get from them of char 1, 2, 3, or 4, and any of those chars with no toast, light toast, medium toast, or heavy toast.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
How about that? So the toasting process is a longer process.
Yes.
I would assume, just
but
to really
still not very long. Like I've been told 20 to 30 minutes is typically the process of toasting a barrel.
Charring, on the other hand, though,
real quick,
right?
Real quick.
Absolutely. Okay. So the toasting likely just affects the barrel over a longer period of time, really integrates itself deeper into the barrel.
I imagine so.
And then the charring will really just flesh out that outer core of the barrel, where it's like more like seconds.
And I believe that the color of the whiskey, that's really being pulled from the
charring, right?
Yeah, the
absolutely.
char is what's giving you the color, where I think toast you're specifically doing for a flavor profile that you want. And so that is something I did learn rather recently. I didn't know that you could have a charred and toasted.
And toast, right.
I always thought it was one or the other.
Absolutely. And
but I'm not positive, because it's kind of weird how it's put on that label, but knowing that information, it kind of makes you think maybe it is both. I don't know.
Yeah, it says heavy toast with American oak, and finished in New American oak with a char number 1.
Yeah.
And so it's distilled in Canada, folks. We've seen this process of maybe Americanizing some of these whiskeys.
Yeah.
By bringing them to the U.S. from Canada and finishing them in brand new American oak barrels, which is something that we have to do in the U.S. for qualifying a bourbon or an American rye whiskey. It has to be aged initially in brand new American oak barrels. So it gives you a more intense flavor profile and seasoning to the actual whiskey, because it's new barrel. In Canada, they don't have to use a new barrel for their aging process or finishing or anything like that. Same with Scotland, Ireland, Japan, so forth and so on. So really, this brand new oak helps to Americanize it. Similar to what Whistle Pig did long ago. Their 10-year Canadian rye, they finished it in brand new American oak casks. Similarly, Uncle Nearest, their rye is Canadian rye. They finish it in Uncle Nearest cask. So they aren't going new cask, but they're finishing it in Uncle Nearest cask. So yeah, sometimes with some of the Canadian productions, you kind of have to find a way to give it its American appeal, right?
Yeah.
So interesting stuff. But once again, 21 year, 20 year,
and then 15 and 8.
15 and 8.
Yeah.
The 21, 20, and 15 year are corn whiskeys. And the 8 year is a wheat whiskey, right?
Yes.
So we can kind of liken this to a wheated bourbon.
For sure.
All right, man. There you go.
Quick thing, real quick, before we go into this, just because we got a good question from Guy Palace, even though he may be, I don't know if he's still in here, but he was asking about the shape of our glasses, and does that enhance the bouquet? And so, I don't know, you're the...
Absolutely. Well, this is what you call the Glencairn glass. It is a glass, I think, that is recognized as the glass of choice for whiskey enthusiasts, right?
Yeah.
It, as you can see, has a little bit of a wider bowl, so that you can help to, as you swirl the whiskey, increase the surface level for aromatics, as well as oxidation of the whiskey, to really get the aromas of that whiskey lifted. So it allows you to do that, similar to a wine glass, right? How the bowl is a little bit wider, kind of closer to the middle of the glass. And then you have a little bit of a streamlined tulip effect where it will become a bit more narrow at the top because you want to maybe encapsulate as much aromatics as you can. So you're almost maybe concentrating the aromatics as you are taking a nose of the whiskey from a glass like this. If it was just a flanged glass or a rocks glass, it would be so much of an open rim that as you nose it, there'll be so much more lost, right? So here with the closer top portion of the glass, it's closer rim, you can really concentrate those flavors up top but have enough oxygen that can get into the glass that the bowl is able to open greater.
100%.
Yeah.
That's a great way of describing it.
It's a Glencairn glass, and if you don't have one, pick yourself up some Glencairn.
Yeah.
I need to get some Glencairns in here. Some chats Glencairns coming to you this spring. This spring, let's put it into the universe for sure.
Speaking into existence.
Absolutely. So cheers, Matt. Once again, man. Welcome back for your first Whiskey Wednesday, where we don't have another distiller in. It's all about you today, man.
Okay, all about me.
For sure. Oh, so you get the sweet corn notes, right?
100%.
Yeah. Now we're talking about older aged whiskey, right? Up to 21-year-old whiskey is in here.
But you made a good point already that I'm glad you were kind of leaning, or I was about to bring up age, where this is Canadian. So it's not comparable to, say, a 21-year-old bourbon or a 20-year when you were referencing that they're using used barrels, where, yes, it's finished in a new barrel. Yeah. But out of that 21 years, I imagine 20 and a half of it or maybe all 21 where they might not whether or not they're counting the finishing as age or not.
No, I doubt they're counting the finished product as part of the age for it. Literally what you see on designated as the age for the 3 corn components and the wheat component, I would be pretty hard pressed that is the age of the whiskey before the blend, right?
Gotcha.
So we're also talking about something that doesn't seem overly aged, right? We aren't getting into kind of such reduced characteristics where maybe you're getting just all wood note. Like there's still a lot of fresh grain characteristics, sweet corn notes, kind of a light, kind of grassy wheat.
Lots
or hay-like wheat note. Maybe what do you call it? Kind of a fibrous cream of corn.
Okay, a little cream of corn action.
Type of
And like I'm even going
mini wheat.
Oh, see, I'm like some honey cornbread.
Honey cornbread, okay.
Yeah.
You get a honey Cheerios or something like that.
Yeah, there's some honey in there for
little
sure.
Honey.
Lots of sweet notes, which is common out of that, that corn whiskey. I mean, real high corn amounts with this one still being a blend.
Absolutely.
I mean, just gives you a lot of sweet notes.
Little toast.
There's a nice toast.
Maybe a little bit of an apricot or an orange.
Oh.
You seeing that?
I get on the orange, I think. I get on board with the orange.
All right, let's give it a swig.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right. So, first whiskey of the night. Folks, we aren't playing around.
First.
117.1 proof. Just dove right on in.
Why not?
Why not?
First glass of the day.
Yep.
Gotta do it right.
Absolutely. So, of course, the palate has to go through a bit of an adjustment. It got pleasant, kind of forward and mid palate flavors, but of course, the attack of the 117. Just need that first sip to say hello and wake up the taste buds.
Second sip already is enjoying it a lot.
Okay.
And that it's not showing the proof as much, definitely, but I felt like I was getting more on the finish, more of that kind of citrus characteristic.
Yeah.
That I felt like we were just talking about on the nose.
Mm-hmm. The aromatics got a little bit warmer, maybe a little deeper second go round for me than the first approach aromatically. Let's see what that does to the palate.
See, I'm almost getting like a little bit of blackberry on this finish. That's kind of an interesting one. On the finish, this kind of berry note. I'm loving the viscosity of this whiskey. I mean, we mentioned it with the legs that you'd see in the glass, but just has a real nice oiliness to it. I really like that.
Yeah. I'm picking up characteristics as well of the charring and toasting. Like that's this second go around. I'm getting a lot more of the toasted like notes. It's kind of putting in the mindset of campfire or even grilling a little bit. Nothing too heavy and intense, but some of these warmer kind of campfire-esque notes really do play forward, but with a clean wood note. Nothing too smoky, right? Nothing extremely smoky.
Yeah, I think the oak shows through nicely. If you told most people that this has 21-year-old whiskey in it, they would be surprised at how mild in regards to it being 21 years old. It has the oak flavor shows. The color on this is fantastic, but definitely not near as overwhelming as you might think it could be.
This one, that's way too much now.
See what it opens up into.
Yeah. Way too much water, though, for that little bit of whiskey that I had in the glass. But, of course, with the whiskey like this, in any of your cask-strength productions, it might want to still a little bit more of that whiskey, if you don't mind. Then you can, of course, dilute the whiskey a little bit, add a few drops of water to it. That's your preference, right? They don't do it at the distillery or at whoever's bottling. In this case, Found North. They could, but you wouldn't have the full spectrum and potential of enjoying this whiskey at its fullest strength. And so it's totally okay to find your sweet spot sometimes, right? With a cask strength whiskey. You may like it exactly how it's bottled, or you may like a couple drops in there. That's all your prerogative. We like to, of course, taste things at cask strength, exactly how they will showcase after popping your cork, allowing it to breathe, giving it a little air. But of course, it's always fun to kind of maybe taper it down just a bit and see if other nuances of flavor comes to light with a slightly lower proof.
I think one of the things that just adds to why I'm such a big advocate for cask strength products. Indeed. Because even if you don't enjoy it straight out the bottle, it gives you that full range of customizing it instead of just buying a bottle proof down to 80 or 90 proof. Well, they've already added a whole bunch of water in where maybe you don't want it 130, but maybe you'd like it more around 100 or 110 proof, and you can add drops of water in. Obviously, it's not going to be near as technical as how they do it at a distillery, but you're just able to find, your sweet spot, and it gives you more room to play with on a cask strength product than buying one proof down already. So I love being able to experiment just like you're doing right now.
Indeed. The first thing that I noticed is a bit more of the vanillins come forward. Once I added a couple drops of water, I added a couple more. So like 4 drops now. And I'm getting more corn, that sweeter corn profile.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit of that kind of cooler climate Canadian softness of the whiskey is coming forth just a little bit more.
It is all aspects of it that it shows, I feel like, come across very soft.
Yeah.
But still, if you've watched Whiskey Wednesdays in the past, you know I'm not the biggest fan of Canadian. Zoe loves giving me a hard time about my negativity towards Canadian whiskey. But I was very excited for this one because of the proof and because of the age, which I feel like cask-strength Canadian is pretty uncommon to see. I think this definitely appeals to bourbon drinkers, and definitely one a bourbon drinker, someone like me who doesn't typically enjoy Canadians. I enjoy this quite a bit. I think it kind of bridges that gap nicely. Kind of like you said, Americanizing these products.
That's right. And folks, that's the whiskey right there. It's gonna, if you find it in your marketplace, it will look similar to this one.
Marketplace?
Indeed. Like this one right here at Chat's Liquor, single barrel. We have this production. It's pretty close. The 21, 20, and 15-year corn components and the 8-year wheat. So, it is exactly season 4, cask 5,669.
This is 5,693.
All right, there you go. Exactly. It's bottle number 174 out of that.
Yeah.
So, one bottle left of the Found North here at Chat. So, fun stuff. The colors might be a little bit different than what this picture is showing here. I think we have kind of a turquoise, green, bluish, kind of bottom, the cresting mountain range or what have you behind. But yeah, that's the bottling there. And we're going to get to rating this production. So we will start with you, Matt.
Start with me.
Indeed. What we got? And let me see. Any other information I can give on Far North before you get to going?
Found North.
Oh gosh.
I know.
Far North, right? Found North. Please excuse me.
Happen to it.
Hey, we had the pleasure of having Far North on Whiskey Wednesday last week, and that's just stuck in my brain. So Found North. Craft Distillery specializes in producing exceptionally high-proof whiskeys known for their meticulous cask aging and focus on flavor, style, deliver a bold and distinctive expression that shows the unique character of each barrel. This one was pretty neat. Yeah, corn. This one is just corn and wheat.
Yeah,
absolutely. No real other information that you necessarily need for that bottling. But come on, Matt, what you got, man? As far as ratings go. And we did hear your disclaimer that you're not the biggest fan of Canadian.
Yes, but I did enjoy this product. I think I'm going to be sitting at a 7. I think I'm going to be sitting at a 7.
Sitting at a 7. All right.
I'm going to let it ride. I think I'm pretty happy about a 7.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you, Bernie?
Okay. I'm right there. I'm right in that neighborhood with you. I probably, I was maybe in the neighborhood of a 7.5, but that's a little tough just because there is the lack of the integration of oak that really does give it more of that bourbon-like appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost is if that they're maybe just accenting it at the end that doesn't quite give it give it exactly what it needs, right? And at a high proof, I will say, such a high proof, the spirit note shows forward at 117. After proofing it down, it's still a little bit lean.
Okay.
Maybe with some malted barley in there, it could have maybe given it a little bit more depth. Definitely with some rye. But being wheat, it's kind of soft all around. So I think I'll stick at 7.5 just because I like the oils. Okay. I actually enjoy the aromatics and maybe even the flavor a little bit more after proofing it down a bit. And I think it becomes a little more charming and or just that easier drink. High proof Canadian, it's a little tough anyway, especially with this mash bill. In that, does it deliver enough complexity of flavor that is going to hold your attention?
Yeah.
I don't know, but proofing it down, I thought it was pretty smooth and it's more drinkable in that sense. So let's go ahead and post it up. The Matt and the Bernie ratings. Found North single barrel cask strength whiskey. It is from Canada, folks. It is Americanized and bottled. Where's that bad boy bottled?
Oh, it is bottled out of Rochester, New York.
Okay, yeah, Rochester, New York.
Rochester,
Okay, indeed. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm so glad you actually brought that up because I've been wondering, where their location is in the U.S.
Right,
and I just never even turned the ball around to look.
It's being bottled up there, but I mentioned Uncle Nearest as well. Their rye, I think, is also being bottled in Rochester.
Oh,
so there's some outfit out there, maybe that's doing some importation and finishing, and they are able to maybe scale some of this whiskey. I have to find out what that is. If you have anybody, if anyone knows what that might be, drop it in the chat, and we'll shout you out and give you the due respect of allowing us to learn that bit of information. So Matt gives the Found North single barrel cask strength. This is batch 4, right? Or season 4. Yep, 117.1 proof. A 7. I give it a 7.5. That's our rating.
And we do got the genius Tim in the chat who said, "Read the label, Matt." Yes, we did read the label. We know it's coming out of Rochester, New York. We're trying to figure out if it's the same entity doing multiple different brands they're bottling.
We can figure that out with maybe a quick Google search and so forth. But for now, we're live and we're not going to do all that.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to do it and get back to us.
For sure. Yeah, drop it in the chat.
We're going to do a water rinse now.
Indeed. Come on, folks. Water rinse time. Make sure you stay hydrated between the drams. That's something that we always do at chats here on Whiskey Wednesday. And even more of a reason to do so because we have everything high proof on the table. Oh, man. Hey, Matt, welcome back, dude.
Yeah, glad to be back.
So great to have you back,
Isn't it good to be back drinking high proof and not...
Oh, for sure. This is the way we do it, man.
That's what I was about to say.
It doesn't get better.
Coming back full circle now.
It really doesn't get better at all, for certain. So this is great, man. And we look forward to seeing you, for Whiskey Wednesday, just more and more. And back here in the DMV, man, in the chats.
Yeah.
Come on, let's have some fun, man. Well, I'm going to hydrate, and we're going to get into the next whiskey soon. Right? Any comments? Anything else you need to shout?
Gigi saying she missed me and glad to see me back.
Indeed.
So I appreciate it, Gigi. She said she wasn't packing up her house. She had run over. Well, not tonight because you're busy packing up your house, but maybe next week or two I'll run into you.
Indeed. Well, Gigi, as you've been packing, Matt and Ellie have been unpacking. So definitely understand how much effort that takes, for sure.
Not the most fun.
To make a move. Absolutely. Well, you moved across the country pretty much. And Gigi's just moving a few miles.
She's moving a couple miles.
You have to
she might
put
have
all that effort forward.
A little easy.
Few miles. Man, that's tough.
But I don't know.
Indeed. Well, water rinse. We did that.
It's done.
It's done, man. We're going to move along.
Time for bottle 2.
It is time for bottle 2. And we are going to
throw it up on the screen.
We're going to throw it up.
Absolutely
Going to throw it up.
Look at that.
Boom. Let's get a bigger view, a centered view of that. Okay. Folks, look at this.
Killing it.
It is definitely a unicorn, something that people who will be or have been searching for. And let's pour it up, man. It is the Woodford Reserve, their batch proof Masters Collection Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This one is bottled at 121.2 proof points. And this is the Masters Collection, folks. So they're always doing something unique and specialty within this series of whiskeys. That is the bottle right there. And yeah, we are going to get into it and have some fun. Let's see if I can just change up the view here. Let's try it again.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
On this, we'll call it the whiskey cam.
The whiskey cam.
Whiskey
the
cam.
Bottle cam.
There's the whiskey cam.
Look at that.
Absolutely. I think it was, who was it? Wendy Williams had some type of cam. The fan cam or something like that. Okay. She was doing that talk show that she had. Shout out to Wendy Williams.
There you go.
You know,
if you're tuning in, Wendy Williams.
Shout out to Wendy Williams. Absolutely. She was a pioneer in a few spaces. So we'll shout out Whiskey Williams for certain.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, absolutely. So coming on back to the Woodford Reserve. Of course, we all know Woodford Reserve. They are small batchers doing their thing in Kentucky. And this one is special because it is not only a part of their Masters collection, is also a barrel strength production from their Masters collection. And of course, you know, I was recently in France at Versailles, but this is, you know, their production is out of Versailles, Kentucky.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Correct? Isn't that correct?
I mean, I ain't gonna.
Yeah, out of Versailles, Kentucky.
No kidding.
I don't know if they call it Versailles over here. Or Versailles.
Hey.
Versailles.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
tell you right now. If I read that, it would be Versailles.
Versailles.
Or Versailles.
Versailles. Versailles.
But that's good to know. Learn something new every day.
Absolutely.
Can't wait for tomorrow.
Absolutely that. Well, of course, at Woodford, their regular mash bill is usually a rye style mash bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they may do a decent malt component with their whiskey, though.
Yeah.
But I haven't tasted this particular or knows this particular whiskey yet, so let's go ahead and hop on in.
Yeah, it's been I mean, you see, it's mostly full, but this bottle's been open for a couple months, right around the first of the year.
Okay.
And I've only had a few glasses out of it.
All right.
And yeah, I thought it'd be an interesting one to bring on to Whiskey Wednesday. So not a fresh crack, but pretty recent.
Indeed.
This one shows a little alcohol.
Does it? Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not too bad, but
okay.
Right off the bat, it's going back to, I've always felt like Woodford was a great example of like traditional style, kind of classic bourbon.
Okay.
Definitely a little bit of leather characteristic coming through on the nose, but also you get some little bit of sweetness, kind of caramel jumping in. A lot more right off the bat. I feel like it gives a lot more depth than the Found North did.
Okay.
But also look at you're doing some wild stuff on this computer.
How about it?
But yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of alcohol showing. We're at 121 proof, so you know, working our way up there. Working our way up.
Mm-hmm.
But and one thing I want to point out, as we know, this comes more and more common, but 2 of the 4 bottles on the table are 700 milliliter bottles.
Oh,
this
really?
Woodford and the Jack are both 700 ml, not 750s.
Okay.
2 different bottles on the table.
3. Indeed.
Crazy. Losing out on 50 milliliters of whiskey.
Right? What's up with that, huh?
I don't know.
Right.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I totally get you. It's more kind of in a refined, aromatics, in that it's almost bringing things into the library, right? You're sitting in the old school office with the leather wingback chairs, the books, the
smells of rich
the
mahogany.
mahogany of the desks and so forth, and yeah, kind of gives you that profile a little bit. A
Yeah,
little bit of library like nose.
it definitely is. Yeah, something you'd feel like your lawyer would have sitting in his office. You
For sure.
like go to have a meeting
sure.
with him or something, and
Yeah,
this would be
yeah.
sitting in his decanter in his office.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And this is also one that because of those aromatics, like, I'm sure that some folks would want to light up a stogie with this.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Yep.
And I think it's got enough to stand up to pairing with a cigar and not getting overwhelmed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And at 120, 1.2 proof, I think aromatically it's well integrated. I think the proof point helps to deliver a little bit more spiciness of the rye.
Yeah.
But some cherry like note in there for me.
Yeah.
Get a little cherry Kirschwasser, little spirited cherry brandy almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the spirit is there, but then cherry notes. So a little cherry brandy Kirschwasser. Indeed.
Maybe a little chocolate though in there. A
little bit of chocolate,
like dark chocolate, like just a little bit,
maybe.
But I think it sparked it when you brought up the cherry.
Indeed.
I kind of always go like chocolate covered, like a dark chocolate covered cordial cherry
type thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
All
right. Yeah, fresh oak notes, little leather.
I'm gonna give it a sip.
Yeah, me too, man. Why are we waiting? Gosh, talking too much.
Waiting on you.
I don't know, Matt. Wow, that really did kind of give you the repeat of the oaks, the leathers, the spices, the toasts. Maybe a little bit of pine, like not pine, but more so pine wood.
Okay.
Not pine needle, but kind of
very
own pine cone, pine wood a little bit.
Not the green.
Yeah, not the
pine
green
aspect.
Right. Right.
No. It's
pine
real
acorn-esque
and pretty tannic.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. A lot of
your
tannins
palate
there.
gets real dry after that first sip.
Yeah, multiple woods. Like, I was getting an oak, but indeed. Wow, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Trying to keep any personal bias aside because I did pay for this bottle out of my own pocket. And they Woodford has been on some of these more specialty bottles. They've been getting up there in their price point. And I mean, I think there's some good stuff for sure, but getting in that price point that I don't commonly spend, so I always keep that a little in the back of my head too.
Yeah. But on the palate, I also get like a slightly heavier maltiness with it. The richness. And does this, I don't know why it's like giving me, multiple oak series or something. Like, I can't believe this is with the amount of wood that we have. I can't believe that it's no secondary.
It's not like a double oak or anything like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would assume that may be the case, but I guess it's not, man.
And I'd love to know a ballpark on age for this.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, I would
Right.
love to have an idea because I mean, I think because going back to kind of like what you're saying with the appearance, or it gives the same vibe as a double oak product or a secondary finished product.
Yeah.
Maybe it's coming from a little more age than we were anticipating this having, but we kind of don't have any real basis to go off of for it. So yeah, but I mean, it's a fun bottle. I do
Absolutely.
definitely feel like this is, I mean, just your quintessential. If you love Woodford Reserve already and you wish it was at a higher proof, which is a remark I've made, this is going to be right up your alley.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Neat stuff. Neat stuff. For sure. I'm digging it, man.
Getting a little bit of creaminess now. That's kind of opened up.
There's so much texture and viscosity there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost chewy into the finish, and then almost gosh, like there's a I want to say that it's something that's a little bit salty, a little bit smoky. I won't say gamey or meaty at all, right?
Yeah,
but it's almost like you're chewing on like a jerky. Like that's the feeling that I get, with all the richness in the wood tones and oak-like smoke characteristics and all. There's such a viscosity. It's almost like you're chewing on a beef jerky or something like that. But nothing that goes like, you know, into the meat category, but certainly into like some of the cured like smoke, a little bit of savory, well, a lot of savory characteristic.
It almost goes back to like just you feel like you're standing over someone grilling.
Yeah.
Not necessarily eating what's coming off the grill, not going into that meaty characteristic, you know, just that. I mean, that's where I'm going now too. Initially, it's like you go to your lawyer's office, but now I'm like, maybe this is your dad having a barbecue out back.
Indeed. But there's something chewy about this, man. The viscosity is crazy rich. Of course, added a couple drops of water. That does taper it down a little bit. But the flavors are pretty similar. Maybe it increases the wood note again. Second sip, I was getting a little bit more glycerin, the sweeter tones of the corn, the kind of viscosity and malty characteristics.
Yeah.
But a little drop of water that kind of elevated the wood note again, and maybe as it opens up and you continue to enjoy it, that continues to develop. But neat stuff, man.
For sure.
This is a treat.
It's fun.
Of course, Woodford delivers, their products with something of usually some level of quality that in this master's collection, it might not necessarily be you might have your favorite within the lineup, but there are some nuances there that always kind of grabs your attention and makes it worthwhile, especially, as you mentioned, if you're a Woodford fan. Yeah. So I think I will start with the rating for this one. I really do enjoy the depth of flavor that you have here, the viscosity, the maltiness, the smoky characteristics, the tertiary notes, the leathers, the toast, the smoke. Not really gamey, but savory. And I think that I'm going to need to be probably I think I'm going to go 8 solid for this.
Wow.
8 solid. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's my opinion. What do you think, Matt?
I really enjoy this bottle.
Uh-huh.
I think it is a fantastic pour. I'm going to be a little lower than you. Now, I think if you were giving me this in a blind,
okay,
I would probably be more in the realm of you. just bring it down a little for what I feel like what you're getting out of it for the price point.
Okay.
And I hate to be that guy. I really do.
Hey,
but
man, be him.
That's just how I've been. I think it's a great bottle. But like I said, I think it's a big difference in the price point of this bottle is not a common price point for me to spend. Other people commonly spend about that $200 mark on a bottle.
Okay.
In which case, that probably doesn't affect your opinion, viewer rating of it. So I'm going to be sitting at a 7.5.
A 7.5?
7.5.
Okay.
On this one.
Okay.
And again, maybe if Woodford would have just sent me this bottle for free, that rating might have been higher. So Woodford, you never know. Tap in.
Right.
Might bump those ratings up a little bit. You never know. But I think it is fun. I think it's great. This definitely is a product. I mean, I will finish this whole bottle and enjoy every sip.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it. But yeah, so 8 flat for Burn.
7.5
for me.
7.5
on the Woodford Masters Collection, batch proof 121.2 or 3 proof? 121.2.
121.2. Yeah. Indeed. Let's toss that on up there so you can all see our final rating. And yeah, how good was that? The Woodford Reserve.
I think this is a great
7.5 from Matt, 8 for Bernie.
Point Brian Iazon said rating taste or value or both. Now, I want to say, generally speaking, Chat's Liquors is rating based off taste. Or, I mean, Whiskey Wednesday here at Chat's, we're rating based off taste. Yeah. This bottle, just with it being one of the most expensive bottles I own, and with me having paid for it out of my own pocket, I am letting that factor in a little bit tonight. But that is just me personally. That is not affecting Bernie's rating, and that is not typically playing a role in how we rate things on Whiskey Wednesday. Just maybe it's a little bit of buyer's regret for me after buying this bottle that I kind of regretted spending the money before I even opened it. And so I think it's just been, for me, shaking that a little bit. So typically that is not the case on Whiskey Wednesday here at Chats. But there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's also one of those things where, just to give you an idea, what did you pay for this?
It was right around roughly 175, 180.
About 175, 180. Yeah. And the thing about it is that, Woodford is such a brand name that people are going to seek the Masters collection, Woodford out, any specialty Woodfords out. They're going to seek it out. Mind you, in some markets, like you don't have the selection and the diversity of in the marketplace of various whiskeys like we do in other marketplaces like DC, right? And so Woodford can put out something like this and about $200, it'll sell through, no problem. What we like to do sometimes here at Chats is find, those little sleepers that are $50, $40, $60. We've tasted some $60, $70, under $100 bottles of whiskey, and they've been 8-point ratings from me, right?
Yeah.
And those are the sleepers. Now they may not have a brand name like Woodford does.
Sure.
And so you do end up paying for the brand name to an extent. But we try to just kind of give you an honest impression of the whiskey inside the bottle as opposed to the brand name and all these things. Has it ever happened when there was a brand name that we had that got a little extra love from me? Absolutely. Especially the one that had my name on it, you know? Yeah.
I was about to say.
That Black Draft Barrel Bernie, right?
Yeah.
But no, it was also really good whiskey, right? But yeah, it may have gotten an extra quarter of a point, because it had my name.
Just a quarter.
Just a quarter, man. And I probably rated yours the same though, the Barrel Mat. So yes, it's you remember the Barrel Bernie and Barrel Mat, from Black Draft, they were awesome whiskeys for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example of a brand that doesn't have the name, but at the price point coming in, you can basically
Under $100
buy 2 of those bottles. You could have bought a bottle of Barrel Bernie and a bottle of Barrel Matte, basically for the price of this.
Yep.
You're getting the proof point
120
probably
proof.
in the same realm as age. And I mean, yeah, I would pick that bottle over this bottle any day, and to be able to get 2 of them for the price of one of these, and 2 750s for this is 1 700.
Oh, this is a 700
Let's
ml,
point
right?
out too.
Jipping us on the 50 mLs.
I know, but
That's
still
right.
a great bottle. If you're in
Indeed.
the market, you come across one of these, the budget isn't an issue for you. You will thoroughly enjoy it.
For sure.
It is a great pour. So
I have to agree with you on that, Matt. Oh my gosh. It's definitely good stuff. And boom, we'll do that.
Now we're doing a little water rinse.
We're doing a water rinse, right? Absolutely.
Oh, and we got
get a little water in our systems.
We got Gigi saying, could you please not talk about the Black Draft unless you have some more? It took a long time to put it out of my mind.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're going to continue to water rinse. Everybody who is on Instagram that is still joining us, Instagram is going to kick us off in a few minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this moment to reset our Instagram. So please do me a favor. We're going to drop off, but we're going to come right back in to your Instagram feed in about 15 seconds. So just bear with us while we reset, folks. Cheers.
Bear with us now.
All right, everybody on YouTube, you should still be good to go. And so don't mind us.
Don't mind us just handling things on the back end. Yep, live
Indeed,
video.
indeed. Let's see if I can keep with my 30-second promise there.
Now I need to set a timer. Come on now, don't rush.
That's for sure.
Don't start
Right.
Sweating over here.
Oh man, come on, button. Let's go. Okay, I guess I need to drop it first. I need to remove it first. For sure. And then bring it back.
Okay. We're getting it. We are getting it. But yeah.
Next up, save change.
Be sure and hydrate in between your drams.
Without a doubt.
Especially drinking a little bit of high proof stuff. Not too high, though. Not too high proof. Just a little bit. Just a little.
For sure. Okay.
Something.
Going live again. All right.
Boom. Back in action.
Nice. Back in action. All right. So sorry for the delay, everybody. We have reset the Instagram. So welcome back in to everyone on the gram.
On the gram.
Hey, that was fun. Welcome in. Our buddy Michael, who is in the house, came through to hang out with us. Hey, sir.
He's been drinking some good whiskey lately.
He's been drinking some good whiskey. Absolutely. He's going to show up with some of those whiskeys and hop on this IG and YouTube live with us on a Whiskey Wednesday coming up soon. For sure. But let's go ahead and show off our next selection. It's the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel 8-year Uncut Single Barrel. Come on. Barrel proof private barrel.
Barrels in this.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. 127.4.
Yeah.
Come on.
Fresh crack.
A fresh crack on top of that. Gotta give it up for a fresh crack. I gotta get a little something media wise to showcase a fresh crack.
A little GIF or something. I don't know.
Something, man.
I don't know. But
something.
I have been dying to try this, so I am. Maybe we'll do a little. What is this? Oh, my mic's about to fall off. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Mic comes in and my mic is about to fall off. All these mics. But maybe a little ASMR while I crack this. Get it right up by the mic.
Indeed. Yeah, that's. Love it.
And then.
Oh. That's good, man. I like the way you did that.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
That was beautiful. Job well done. Job well done. All right, folks.
Extension out here. Okay. What? Is this where we're going with things?
Yeah, this is where we're going.
Is,
folks, it was a fresh crack.
We're going to show a fresh crack in some concrete.
It was a fresh crack. Let's go.
This is.
Let's go. Hey, man. You know, why not?
Oh, my gosh.
Why
That's
not,
great.
right? Why not? But let's go. It's the Elijah Craig, folks.
Yeah.
Indeed. Let's get how large can we go on that? Folks, you may not be able to see it as well as I would like you to see that bad boy. I can't enlarge it any more than that. But this is not any toasted barrel Elijah Craig. This is an uncut 8-year-old single barrel cask-strength toasted barrel. Did I get all of the adjectives in there for that?
Yeah, as far as I know,
Yeah,
it really is. It really is a little irritating to try and say it all.
Right. There's a lot. There's a lot to it. But at the same time, let's just get maybe see how this view comes in, folks.
Also, shout out to Elijah Craig. They just announced they're going to start releasing barrel-proof ryes. Elijah Craig is.
Nice.
So excited to try one of those. Don't know when they're hitting the market. They just got label approval, I believe, a week ago. So.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Excited.
Well, of course, Elijah Craig, and I've been getting a couple little requests of some other Heaven Hill ryes. Right, some Heaven Hill Ball and Bond. But of course, this is a brand under the Heaven Hill Distillery umbrella. And it's been one of my beloved brands. You know, Elijah Craig, I love. I'm a huge fan of the Larceny Wheated, especially their single barrel, cask-strength barrel pit, not barrel pit, but cask-strength expressions, the Wheated lineup. And of course, they toast their barrels for this expression, which gives a unique expression of flavor. And this bad boy is cask-strength. Special.
You know, I mean, I think a lot of people are familiar with the, batch product that's released 3 times a year in Elijah Craig barrel proof. And then they're also familiar with the toasted barrel from Elijah Craig. But for me personally, and I think a lot of other people, the biggest issue with Elijah Craig toasted barrel is the low proof point at just 94 proof.
Right.
And so what I love about this is I feel like it is a distillery and a brand that listened to consumers and what consumers were asking for or wanting, and gave it to them. I don't hold me to this, but my understanding of it right now is that this is set up to only be done as single barrels, whether it's a store pick or maybe a distillery release. It's not set up to become a batch product or something that's released multiple times throughout the year directly from Heaven Hill Distillery. But that may change. Who knows? Right now, how they released it. And so, yeah, super pumped to have been able to find one. They haven't been out real long. And I mean, I've been prepping to crack this bottle open. I've been on a little Elijah Craig barrel proof kick lately.
Yeah.
So I've been excited for this one.
Well, super excited that you're here. You're sharing it with the Whiskey Wednesday crowd. Whiskey Wednesday. Yeah. I was going to say me, but it's more than just me.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's more than just me. Right. So, what a treat. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely a change of pace.
Grab that chair. Let's move it over towards the barrel. Yeah. Slide it over towards the barrel a little bit. So that folks can't come in and won't interrupt you. Indeed. Perfect. Yep. Just have to let them know, don't kick the camera leg.
Yeah.
But have a seat, bro.
Yeah, take a seat.
But yeah, we are going to get into this whiskey nose wise. There's almost a spirited candy corn, a little not peanut brittle,
okay,
but just the brittle part.
Oh, you is this? I used this
toffee?
last week.
The toffee? Did you?
Yeah, get out of here.
Caramel,
Yeah,
little caramel candy, like the hard caramel candy.
Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, I'm getting a nice creme brulee-esque aspect off it. Kind of like this creamy custard aspect as well.
Yeah.
But I think it leans into that kind of brittle part as well, with that crunchy, that caramelized sugar, burnt sugar on top of it, with that kind of crunchy caramel aspect as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But in some nice vanilla.
Absolutely.
Notes.
I mean, this is one that you have to take your time with. It's showing so very well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
got to take your time with it. So excuse me 1 second. As we take our time, I'm going to let that breathe a bit.
We're going to put Mike. Yeah. So to everyone, you can't see yet. Hang on. Let our production team get to work, and you will soon. But we have Mike in the house. Our man Mike. I think we got him some of this in his glass, and I think he also maybe has a little sample of something that we might get to finish out the evening with. Watch out, burn. Yeah, camera. Okay. So, all good. But yes, so we're gonna bring in another little another opinion, another palette, and see how everything see what it looks like. So yeah, I mean, definitely, I think a lot of complexity. Something that's going to be nice to let it open up, let it breathe.
You're okay with this, right?
Yeah, now that you have a microphone, ask for his permission to be filmed when you already have the camera 3 feet from his face and a microphone on his shirt.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. So how are you about to do this? How's this work? Oh, look at that, Mike. That's you.
Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Excited
We'll do a little cheers with you. You are the star of the show. Don't know if anyone can hear that as my microphone. Remind me next week to wear a collared shirt, so this mic I have a better spot of putting it. So, what do you think about this so far? Have you taken a sip?
I've taken a sip.
Okay,
so
okay.
you guys
Well,
are a
go
lot
ahead.
more. You guys are a lot more academic than I am. You know,
You good?
I get the notes on the nose, but after a few sips, I'm like, all right, time to jump in on the palate. It's interesting. On the first sip, I think I've had 3 now.
Okay.
The first sip, I got kind of a grassy note to it, like a lot of like herb. Like I'm thinking like a fresh like parsley. It was just kind of like a which is, I know, odd for like a barrel like this, especially when, you know, anything that's like heavily toasted is going to be a lot of like rich caramel, a lot of like creme brulee, like you were mentioning. But then once I got that on the palate, second sip, just like a nice toasted marshmallow, where it's like you got the burnt caramelization. I would say almost like when you get the marshmallow almost a little too black, but it's just like still like great around it. Yeah. So like that's kind of what I was getting on that.
Okay, I like that.
But it's got a good finish on it. The mouthfeel, it's got a great long finish and great mouthfeel as you keep sipping it.
No,
Indeed.
I like that though.
We're sure. That's great.
That's what I mean. He's sitting here
See,
saying
folks,
he's not as academic about it as us, then he's going to give a description
community-
like that. I mean,
Yeah, maybe academic. I'm more impatient about
Okay, sure.
the nose. Yeah.
go.
I just get right
There
to
you
it.
go. I'll give you that. I was like, man, that might have been the most academic description we've had all night, except for when Bernie uses words that I can't pronounce or spell.
Did I make up?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but that's what's so great about it for you is
No, I'm kidding.
9 times out of 10, no one here knows enough to call you out on whether you're just making it up or not. So you really could just be making it up, and we wouldn't sit here and call. You think me or Zoe has a more diverse vocabulary than you? No.
Well, yes,
He brings out his Mr. Milchek word.
That's it. Hey, thank you for that, guys.
All
right. Well, you all have really spoken about it quite well. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sit back. I've taken a sip. Right off the bat. So kind of leaning though, where just to reiterate, where you said kind of your first sip getting a little green characteristic. I didn't necessarily get green, but definitely my first sip did not align with what I was expecting at all from the nose. But now I'm going in for second sip.
There's I really enjoy just kind of this almost cascading effect.
What is this?
This cascading, or almost this this burst of like candied sweet flavor. You had those. Sometimes there's I think a strawberry candy, that your family member, your grandma, your auntie had.
Oh, with the little twist wrap on top.
Twist wrap. Yeah. And you bite into it. Well, sometimes there's an orange version of that.
Oh,
right. It's not as much of the strawberry, version. Yeah. And those kind of come out with a weird kind of almost sour. But if you ever had an orange version of it, then it's like that little burst, that kind of more structure of the harder candy. But when you bite into it, it just blossoms on your palate. That was my first impression of this particular Elijah Craig toasted uncut.
Next week, I'm not going to bring a single bottle. I'm just going to bring a thesaurus. And that's what I'm going to do next Whiskey Wednesday. I'll let you know.
That was neat. That was neat.
The thing I find interesting about Elijah Craig's barrel program, like you were mentioning, they're coming out with a lot more exclusive stuff. And I think they're doing that because they've lowered what the minimum age is for their base product. So that base Elijah Craig barrel proof was a minimum of 12 years.
Yep. Yeah.
Now I'm seeing a lot more single barrels. Their store picks are 8 years, 9 years, and they're still great quality, but that like what it compares to on like a normal Elijah Craig barrel proof, that age definitely is needed from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a interesting point that a lot of consumers don't put this together. So taking a guess, but some of this is you can put 2 and 2 together, but I'm not saying this as fact. The following or the people that were seeking out those Elijah Craig batch products of their barrel proof increase. And so they were flying off the shelves more so. People weren't able to get them. Then that leads to unhappy customers. So then you put more out on the shelf. But how do you accomplish that? By cutting that age statement down a little bit. And then you can put more of the product in a consumer's hands. But then you have consumers upset because now the age statement's lower. And so it's kind of how a brand has to, or a distillery has to battle through. You want the product in customers' hands, but you also have a standard that you want to keep up for the product. And so, I agree. You're seeing a lot more 8 and 9. I mean, this is an 8-year-old. But this one, with it, where I cut this specific one slack, is with this being a new product, that maybe there isn't 10 or 11-year-old of this toasted barrel to release it barrel proof. But you are seeing a lot more single barrel proofs of that 8-year range, and not as much in the double digit of 10 plus. But it's also very easy to find one now, so that's a great from a consumer aspect. And I've never had a bad one. You've had others that are better than others, but I think Heaven Hill, especially Elijah Craig, you're not gonna get a bad product, whether it's a single barrel or a batch product. They really just put out great stuff.
And Heaven Hill, they solved their allocation problem, where we see Sazerac and other distilleries still can't keep up to demand. Heaven Hill's produced enough product to where you're seeing McKenna 10-year on the shelf, where 2 years ago you could never find it on the shelf. Larceny Barrel Proof on the shelf. Where I grew up in Florida, bourbon's extremely allocated, and so it's difficult to find those bottles. Now I'm seeing them pop up more and more at liquor stores that would never have it on the shelf. They'd have it behind the counter. Now it's on the shelf. It's a base product, which is, it's hats off to them. They've upped their supply. I visited there about 2 years ago. They're building new rick houses. It's really, they're kind of meeting the demand and expectation that's been happening in the bourbon market.
Yeah. Indeed.
Is the Elijah Craig additive free?
Additive free?
I think
additive free in the sense that
yes,
there are
it's straight
absolutely there's anything added to the distillate post distillation goes into a barrel. It ages, and they pull it and they probably rack it. I doubt it's unchill filtered. They filter it, but
I think it's on the side.
it's likely unchill filtered.
It might actually non-chill.
Yep, non-chill filter. Yep. They put it in a bottle. So yeah, the only thing that was added is it to a barrel.
Yeah,
and then to a bottle.
Yeah,
it's a fair question where we see in the tequila market, like all the rise of the fancy tequilas all have additives, and so now it's like, all right, if bourbon has a note of sweetness, is that an additive to it?
Yeah.
But yeah, all these are straight uncut bourbon whiskeys, and you're just going to get the pure barrel flavor, depending on what the seasons were like in Kentucky when it was distilled at the time. Like how much oak is it getting from? But fair question.
And I mean, I already said I've been on Elijah Craig barrel proof cake lately. I love Elijah Craig at cask-strength. Yeah, I really do. It's a great bottle. And I think the price point is extremely fair. I don't know. This is new to the market. This is the only one I ran across, but I picked this bottle up in that $80 range.
Fair price.
Nice.
And so,
nice.
I mean,
woo, folks, if you find it in DC, at $80, you better grab it, because you probably find the standard toasted at that price point.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. That was not in DC.
Yeah, you probably
clear. And I've not seen one in
the
DC.
$200 mark.
Yeah, I haven't seen a toasted barrel store.
So this is a real treat. Again, Matt, thanks for this, man.
Well, I'm glad it was good. I hadn't opened it. I'd never had one before and hadn't opened it. So
I think it's even better than good.
If it would have been I
think it's excellent. For sure. And so much. So I just need a little bit more of a taste on that boy.
Yeah. I love the finish on it. Just still, it's kind of one of those things that not drinking anything else with it, not having water in between sips or anything, you never really lose the flavor of it in between your sips.
Yeah.
It just carries so nicely. It is a little tannic, not near as much so as the Woodford was to me. But a little bit of tannins to me on the back end.
Okay. And I think that's fair, but also for me, it opened up so much. Like the tannins dissipated as the whiskey was in the glass. So that's crazy. That's great. I just poured more, and the tannins are intense again.
All right, might as well.
The tannins intensified as I just had that, just poured more and had another sip. So it's crazy how maybe like wine, the tannins dissipate a little bit with a little bit of oxygen. But I think it's such an approachable 127.4. Wow.
Mm,
I mean, it's unbelievable how approachable this is.
yeah. And I think that is the one thing I'll say. Interestingly enough, I think Elijah Craig drinks extremely well for the proof, typically. But a lot of times I get a good bit of the alcohol or the ethanol in the nose of their products, where this one I don't. But sometimes on their batch products of barrel proof, on the nose, I get a lot of the alcohol, and it drinks extremely well, but just prior to taking your first sip, you maybe get a little nervous about how hot it's going to be. Where at least this one, I mean, I wouldn't even smell this and think it's near 127 proof.
Right.
I would think this 90 to 100 proof product based off the nose.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
I love it. I'm a big fan. I'm a fan.
I haven't even had regular Elijah Craig toasted barrel. This is my first. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So
wow,
this is my introduction to it.
Wow,
it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm a proof head, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it at 94 proof. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, that was.
I think the standard toasted is great. It's creamy. It's super easy. Yeah. It's definitely softer, right? It carries the 94 proof so very well, right?
Yeah.
Like you really get zero volatility of it. It's almost, kind of the Basil Hayden, kind of balance when it comes to the integration of the spirit. It's like you don't get it at all. Maybe you're actually looking for more, right? This one is so well integrated. It's quite nice. I'm going to start with the rating on this one, and it's unbelievable that it's 127.4 proof points. I'm going to have to go ahead and clock this one in at 8.25.
8.25.
8.25. Yeah. I love the integration of the alcohol is what it is. It's 127. It carries it very well. The toasty flavors are there. Once again, that first initial kind of pop of flavor was fun. If there's one critique, maybe a little bit more viscosity, a little bit more palate weight. Like I was getting the Woodford. I love the palate weight of the Woodford.
For sure.
But I love the flavors and kind of the balance and approachability of the Elijah Craig. And that's one of the things that I think sometimes folks critique about Elijah Craig, especially that more aged stuff, is that there's just not enough like weight on the mid palate.
It's not dense.
And it gets, it's a lighter, more lean expression of whiskey. So I'm giving it 8.25. I think this is super drinkable. It's fun. And I like that kind of, there's a little bit of a playfulness in this one. It's not such a serious kind of baseline or mid palate, right?
But isn't it nice going from this to that, where I think it showcases that a little more?
Yeah.
And I think it is. I can respect and enjoy this, but this is just so much more up my alley. And so I'm going to land at an 8.25. I would say I'm an 8.25 to an 8.5, but I'm going to sit at the 2.5.
Yeah.
Only because also we'll see how things go, but I also have a feeling this next bottle.
Indeed.
I do really enjoy. So I'm going to sit in 8.25 for tonight on this. And you never know, may come back to it before the night's up. We'll see how long we feel like being live. See how much liquor we feel like drinking.
We have a few more minutes, and so we'll have to cut out, a little earlier than sometimes we can run. But this is definitely a fantastic bottling. I mean, anything in the 8s is, you should seek that out.
For sure.
Right? But this is the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, 8-year-old, uncut, single barrel, cask-strength, private barrel, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 127.4 proof. Matt and I give it an 8.25. I'm not going to put Mike on the spot right now to rate that.
I mean, I got a score.
You got a score.
He's ready.
All right, there you go. Well, he says
score on Whiskey Wednesday.
He says he had
ever Whiskey Wednesday
his
score.
first ever Whiskey Wednesday score out of
my score on this is 8.0.
8 flat.
Reason being, I'm not a big fan of toasted products. Now, that isn't why it's lower than yours. I think I actually gave it more points than I would have. Comparing this to like a High West campfire where it's literally just like smoke and toastedness, or like, you know, any other toasted products that are on the market. It held its weight on the proof, which I loved. Like, it wasn't overwhelming, but still gave you that like nice, warm Kentucky hug that you're looking for in a high proof bourbon. But I'm going to agree with Bernie. I think the palate on it is nice and long, but it just kind of is a little thin. And I think I was wanting some more viscosity. I think if it had that and it really was like great on like coating your tongue and like you were just kind of like tasting it over and over on that finish, then I think I would have given it an 8.25. But because of that, given it an 8.0.
All right.
But still a unique bottle that I think people should, especially with store picks. Like, I think that's going to be the new, as we were talking recently, I think that's the new hunting, is like trying to find really unique picks out and support local liquor stores.
And again, this is the same guy who said he's less academic on his ratings, and then he says something like
that's
that.
A lower,
I just don't
lower expectations.
Like, come on now, what is this?
It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you know, you sit down with us for Whiskey Wednesday. You know, you come just in saying, no, I don't have much to offer. Don't believe our clientele. Don't believe our friends. Don't believe the crew if they try to tell you that they have nothing to offer or very little to offer when it comes to their opinions of whiskey. We are whiskey heavy. We love it. Our community, our crew, our friends and family. That's what we're into. So what a wonderful, wonderful experience this has been for the first time that I've ever had a toasted barrel cask-strength Elijah Craig single barrel, all provided by this guy right here, M-Dog Stennett himself.
Glad I could be your first.
Dude.
Always remember your first.
Wow.
Also, quick time out, because I've got
sure.
a personal issue with this. Whoever Duck in Instagram is, you don't have a profile picture. It seems a little sketchy to me. What do you mean you let Matt back in? Like, it just feels like you...
What's the name?
Duck 542988.
There you go.
No idea who you are.
There you go.
Do we got beef or something like that? What's this about?
It's like he's on, I is on.
Yeah,
who is like, who is that? Who is that?
We're good. And no, I know who you are.
That was,
you ain't hiding from nobody.
Absolutely. Right.
I got your number.
Know exactly who he
is. Doug 542988. No clue who you are. What you mean by that? We'll let it slide for now, but you're on my radar.
Sure. Hey, what a great time. What a great time. And we are going to have a little water rinse, of course, as we always do. Mike, I think I need to... Did you have one yet?
Yeah, I got one.
You got one? Okay, great. We're going to move on to the finale. Which
is it actually going to be the finale?
Yeah, it's going to have to be. So,
all right, let's get into it then.
We're going to go ahead and show it off.
Here. Show it off.
Go ahead and pour it. Yep, go ahead and pour it. Since I think people, all you need is to see the bottle, right? All you need is to see the lines of the bottle, the silhouettes, right? And we almost know what it is. Such a distinctive label and bottling. It is. I'm gonna sit that up front and we're gonna do that first because I still had another brand up there on on the screen, so that's not kosher. That is not right. Boom. Here we go, folks. Let's go ahead and give a full screen. That's it right there. The Jack Daniel's 12-year-old. This is a 107 proof. This is also, it's not batch number one, it's being shown there on the screen. It's actually batch number two. Batch number two, limited release Tennessee whiskey, folks. The bourbon at heart, but of course, those Tennesseans like to do some charcoal filtration.
Lincoln County process.
Yeah, the Lincoln County process. Shout out Nathan Green, aka Uncle Nearest. The Lincoln County process, for sure. So let's go.
I feel like I opened up a bag of like Werther's originals. I just get so much.
There's Anna through the shot. Little photo
Get
bomb.
so much butterscotch on this.
Later, Anna.
It just kind of, it's so overpowering, but a little bit of like a plum on it too.
Yeah.
A little bit of red fruit.
Yeah. No, it definitely is rich. I think coming off that Elijah Craig too, just the nose, it's a dense nose.
Right.
We're not referencing the actual palate here, but just the nose itself is I don't know, just so dense, rich, thick feeling.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go on.
No, as Mike mentioned, the plum, kind of raisin, little spirit note as well. Black fruit, maybe blackberry on the nose. Heavy char oak, right? Heavy char oak on that. So much so that it's open. It doesn't seem closed and like structured tannic. It seems like burnt, open, sweet.
Yeah.
Release the sweet, right? Okay, pause.
I like that.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice. Right. Nice. The caramels, the almost brown sugar toast.
Yeah.
Like all those unctuous tones. Now, Matt and I sat here and we, said, okay, what's the arrangement for this lineup, right? But Jack, I will say Tennessee whiskeys are kind of in its own category because of the filtration process, the charcoal filtration process that happens to your Tennessee style, Lincoln County style whiskeys that happen after distillation, before those whiskeys go into the barrel. So it's always a unique structure of these Tennessee whiskeys.
Yeah.
Jack Daniel's, the
Dickel,
George Dickel, the Uncle Nearest, of course, right? So
I think a lot of people have an aversion to Jack Daniel's because it's something that they drank in college or when they were younger. So they're like, oh, that's base level stuff. But I'll say once you get to, any of the single barrels, you get to any of the high end, even some of their like the distillery exclusive stuff, like their Tennessee Selects. I put it up there with anything that Kentucky will put out. It's phenomenal product.
I have to agree with you. Yeah. Go ahead.
No. I just think, I think they're raising that bar. I had the 10-year and the 12-year. I bought them both within about a week of each other. 10-year is gone. And then, like I said, just in the last week or two, they released the 14-year, which I'm dying to get my hands on because it's also at batch proof. So similar to this, it's a cask-strength, just a batch product. Price on it is crazy since it hit the market. So not quite in the right tax bracket for that bottle yet. But this, I have, as soon as I opened it up, been so impressed, thoroughly enjoyed, especially too, referencing the bottles on the table. This came in right at that $100 price point.
Wow.
that I picked it up for, which again, you're not going to find in DC for that.
Yeah.
You're not going to find it many places.
On the East Coast.
Yeah, you're not going to
Yeah.
find it. I mean, I'd say majority of the US, you're not
Mhm.
about to find it at that price point.
Right.
And so, yeah, I was super lucky to get it for that. And I've been babying it a little because I know if I finish it off, I'm not going to be able to find another one at that price point.
Right.
But such a good bottle.
Truth to that. And it's quite amazing how developed this is. It's definitely holding our attention. Aromatically, first and foremost, it's 107. So this is the lowest proof whiskey that we've had tonight for Whiskey Wednesday. But it's so generous in its flavor profile, but it's not your, don't think Jack, old school number 7 bottle, right? It's much more complex, much more layered. The depth of flavor is phenomenal on this. And if you're able to find it for $100, that's an ultimate deal. Yeah, grab 2.
You're able to find it for $100. DM me on Instagram.
Yeah, because if otherwise in the DC market, you'll probably find it for 3 times minimum at that price point, possibly 4.
And I mean, yeah, I think this though checks that box for what we were kind of all on about the density of the Elijah Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is fulfilling that role. I mean,
indeed,
coats your palate so well. It feels like it has some weight to it. Feels like you could chew on this almost.
Yeah.
Lingering finish. I mean, I just feel like this is. Here's what I'll say. I feel like this is a really complete whiskey, as long as you're okay. Majority of the aspects of it lean on the sweeter side.
Yeah.
There's not as much tannic aspects to me, or as much leather aspects. Majority of it leans on the sweeter side, which I'm cool with. I'm just saying majority leaning that way. I'm not saying 100% all of it is just sweet. I don't mean it like that. But just I think going from the Woodford and the Elijah Craig to this, it's showing a little more.
Well, that's where I think the 107 really helps to balance that out.
Yeah.
Right. If this was a 92 proofer with this amount of viscosity and richness, then you would have something that skews sweet and it'll be out of balance because of that. The 107 proof point makes this a sip neat, balanced expression, where it's not a chore at all, right? It's not a chore to drink at all.
And I think also too, the age really helps here. Not that age means that something's going to be better, which I think often people make that assumption. But comparing this to the 8-year-old Elijah Craig to 12-year Jack Daniels, you get a lot more texture to it, but it's not overwhelmingly oaky. Like I think that a lot of times, like 10 to 12 years is the sweet spot, and for something that's like charred as heavy as like the Lincoln County process, like it can kind of be a little too oaky, but I think it really blends in well, giving you that notes. Again, getting a lot of like rich caramel. It absolutely is like coating your mouth, just like you have like you put like a stick of butter in your mouth and just like lingers there for a little while.
Indeed, I love that. I love that little butter with some cinnamon sprinkled on it, right? Well, so, Mike, we're coming down to it, man. I'm gonna just keep the camera on you.
Yeah, there
you know, we're gonna
pressure's on.
Since you said you're up for rating, hey, man, let's go.
I'm a huge fan of Jack Daniels. So growing up, I grew up in Florida, but I spent a good amount of time in Tennessee for college and while my wife was in undergrad. And I really got into George Dickel and Uncle Nearest at the time, as well as Jack Daniels. Got my hands on this the distillery exclusive, so I'm a little biased here, like being from I lived in Tennessee for a while and also being Tennessee Vols fan. Go Vols!
All right,
I'm gonna go 9.0.
Whoa!
I think I would pay. I think I'd pay $200 for this and not blink. It is a fantastic bottle.
Nice. Wow. Wow, I
I
love
had the
that.
10-year-old too. This surpassed the 10-year-old.
Wow.
This is
So
fantastic.
a big point I wanted to bring up, going off Mike bringing that up, Bernie, one of the last things he said, the 10-year-old is, correct me if I'm wrong, 97 proof.
Yes.
And I think it's not the age so much that sets those two apart, it's the proof. Because I had the 10 and 12, I did side by sides, I did blinds of them, had my wife pour it for me, and it was never a comparison. The 10 wasn't a bad bottle, but it just wasn't even in the same realm as this. And I think more of that has to do with the 97 proof versus 107 proof that the 12-year is, not so much the age. I'm going to hit it at an 8.75. I love this bottle. I would love to get my hands on a second one so that I could kill this bottle, because I want to drink this every day. But just this is the first one I've seen for under $300, and I bought it, and it was the only one that was there, and still the only one I found under that price point. And so yeah, I'm with Mike now. Having had it, I would pay more than $100 for sure for it, because I know how good it is. But I am on the hunt for it.
Yeah.
Bernie, finish it out strong.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna do just that,
Don't mess
sir.
it up.
Well, it's good. Oh boy, this is good. It is Jack. It is Tennessee whiskey, probably as we've known it, in its, as far as distilleries go, brands go. This is the one that is most known. Shout out to Dickel. Been a huge fan of some of the Dickel products. The bottled and bond 13-year-old for like $60. I'm sad and I'm finally out of that right now. The Uncle Nearest, shout out to Uncle Nearest, right? We're putting some amazing products on into the marketplace. Fawn Weaver, Victoria, Matt and Connie, the DMV folks, right? Not you, the other Matt. But their single barrel cask-strength products been phenomenal, between like 118 and 123-ish, 24-ish proof. Phenomenal productions. And of course, it was Nathan Green who was the really foundational individual in making that Lincoln County style. He was the master distiller for Jack Daniels when everything first got a start. He actually got Jack into the whiskey world. So, just writing on all that history, just this bottle just represents such greatness within that, in the way in which Jack delivers it, which is the unctuous red carpet, roll out the red carpet. We're going to deliver it to you in its full glory. And I'm going to have to say that for this proof point, and the ease of drinkability on this, but also that I'm not necessarily the individual who has ever chased and or looked for a Jack. I've never spent any amount of time,
Wait, just make me feel bad. Appreciate it.
zero. Did I say zero amount of time, like looking for Jack Daniels, up until recently, like within the last year or so? I've like really gotten into Jack, and I'm already scrolling across the bottom.
Yeah, what?
I'm gonna match Mike at a 9 for this production. I have another 12-year-old expression of Jack. That this one is at 107. It's definitely a higher proof. We're talking about 130-ish, realm. This proof point is just dialed in so very well, and it's so easy. As far as a Tennessee whiskey expression, I've been enjoying some of the Uncle Nearest single barrel cask strength productions, but this is up there with perfection, near perfection. So I'm gonna match Mike at 9. I'm gonna not go higher than 9. There's only been not even a handful of whiskeys that have gotten over 9. Right, but it has to have some other nuances. This is so dialed in. It's just easy. You don't have to think about it at all. It just delivers all the flavor characteristics, all the personality in such a balanced way. That it's a 9, folks.
I love it. I love it. So
gosh, this has been fun.
Yeah. Just
I also say this with Jack Daniels. I think a lot of times people are like, "Oh, where can I find some of this stuff?" Next time you're on an international flight, go to duty free. There's a lot of really interesting international exclusives that Jack Daniels isn't putting out on the market.
Yeah.
The Bottled and Bond, that one like top whiskey, I think like 2-3 years ago, that was actually an international exclusive for a long time. It was never on the market elsewhere. So.
Oh, that's what you got.
I was thinking you're gonna bust out Coy Hill.
If he was, I was about to fight him for it. So it's a good thing he didn't.
For that price point, I think MSRP on the barrel proof. Jack Daniels, $70, instant buy.
And the barrel proof ryes are so good too. Just finished one of those off recently, but yeah, I mean, I really I think it also goes back to finishing off. We kind of said the same about Elijah Craig, listening to their consumers. I think people at Jack Daniels were like, "Oh, it's this low proof, low age product, old number 7. It's what college kids drink to mix with Coke." And they're like, "No, we got some good age. We can do higher proof. What do you want?" And they'll give it to you. So, yeah, great product. I'm a huge fan. If you see this out in the marketplace, definitely all day long, I'm going to recommend you pick this bottle up.
For sure.
So,
hey,
we going to call it?
We're going to call it. This has been epic. This has been epic, folks.
Tune in next week.
I'm so happy. Yeah, sure, that. But I'm so happy that Matt is back. So happy that Matt is back, folks. We missed him. He was gone for 13 whole months. But as you all know, he's foundational to Whiskey Wednesday and somebody who held us to account, Hey, let's go. Let's do Whiskey Wednesday. I'll bring whiskeys.
Yeah.
Turn the camera on. Just do it. So to have you back, brother.
Hey.
Or nephew.
There you go. Appreciate it, Unc.
Indeed. It's just an amazing, amazing thing. And so thanks so much for coming back and just bringing these jewels as well. And gosh, to our new friend sitting over who just decided, I'll hop on live. Nah, I didn't even ask him really. I just mic'd him up, put a camera on him. Mike, thank you so much, brother. You have you and your wife, local family, now part of the crew. And we've had some good times thus far and looking for many more.
I appreciate it.
Occasions to get together and sip some great whiskey.
Glad to be a part of it.
Indeed. And so, folks, of course, we'll see you in another 7 days. Hey, we just got a drop of some of the classics. Go ahead and talk about
good whiskey. Speaking of good whiskey, you may see sitting right here today. Got a little shipment in. So these bottles right to my right. I'll say their names as if you don't already know them, but we're going to go Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor Small Batch, and the one and only Blanton's. So if you are a fan of any of those products, if you are a Buffalo Trace Distillery fan, come on down. These are all available here at Chat's Liquors. Just got them in today. Come in, see it on the shelf, grab it. Or if you don't see it on the shelf, ask Anna or Bernie about it. And yeah, we can get you right. Come on down. The products you're all probably out here looking for, they're here, sitting on the shelves at Chat. So come on, see us at 503 8th Street, Southeast, Washington, D.C., 20003.
How many times does Anna get the question, do you have any Blantons a day? So now I have an answer to it that people will like.
Yeah, now you got the answer.
Multiple. Well,
Now
folks, simply go to chatsdc.com, CHATSDC.com, and you'll see what's in stock because, yeah, we get those questions often.
And you can schedule, you can buy it online, just show up,
Yeah.
grab it at the counter in a bag. You can already pay for it and everything online. You show up, just grab it, go. Heck, you can park on 8th Street, put your hazards on, you pop in here for 2 minutes, grab it and get out of here, and you can go on about your day. Grab it on your way home from work, or come by and hang out, shop around. We got other great products as well.
Might even have something open that we can have a little taste of.
You
That
never
always
know.
happens at Chats.
You never know.
But yeah, secure your bottle. I mean, the allocations don't happen often. So secure your bottles if you're interested. Don't expect Virginia ABC prices. Expect something more like secondary or between ABC and secondary. Just because, shoot, the work we have to go through to secure these bottles, it's a lot. So
just be clear.
Just shop online. It's very competitive for online shopping for sure.
Find me a single ABC store in the state of Virginia that has all 4 of these products sent on shelf.
Right, exactly.
And in which case, then you have an argument. But there's not one that exists. So I'm sorry.
It's a different conversation.
What's your time worth? Because look at the convenience here. You got the full lineup sitting right here on the shelves. Just buy them and be happy that you're able to grab all these bottles at the same time and not have to drive 100 different miles going to a dozen different stores. But it's all sitting right here.
The prices are attractive enough that there'll be a couple people who want to buy like everything.
Exactly.
So hopefully, hopefully we have enough to go around, right? But we're signing off now. Hey, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Bern.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining in. See you in 7 days, folks. Cheers.
Have a good night.